Hello everyone. Appium is now one of the most widely used tools for automation test with mobile application. In this video, we'll share about how we use Appium with Java at Nashtec for mobile testing. The content of this video includes framework architecture, a sample project, and the demonstration for it. Firstly, we will have the overview about the architecture of framework. This framework is built on top of Java with Appium, Maven, TestNG, OKHTTP3, and extent reports. It's able to run test case on various kinds of application like native, hybrid, or web application in both iOS and Android. Framework support integrate with CI/CD tools like Azure DevOps or Jenkins. It also support to integrate with cloud testing platform like SauceLab or Browser Stack. Let's see the detailed information related to each component of this framework. About Appium, it's the most popular automation testing tool for mobile application until now. It's an open-source tool with huge community. Appium is split into three parts: Appium Core, Appium Drivers, and Appium Clients, which supports us to implement script as well as connect to the mobile devices to execute the test easily. We can use Appium with various kinds of programming language like Java, C#, Python. Java has become a popular programming language for many years because it's versatile and simple. We can find the support for Java easily through the internet. That's the reason why we choose Java as programming language for this framework. TestNG is the test runner in this framework. It's a popular test framework in Java, which inspired from JUnit and NUnit, but introducing some new functionalities that make it more powerful and easier to use. It allows us to filter test case or run test in parallel so that we can reduce the execution time. It's very useful, especially for the project which have huge number of test case. We also can add customized argument like browser or test environment for running test from command line. It make our framework more flexible in switching browser or test environment. TestNG hooks support us to initialize or clean up driver or test data easily and avoid duplicate code in our framework. With Data Provider, we can run a same script with different set of test data, which allows us to save time in scripting. In this framework, we will use OKHTTP3 for execute the RESTful or SOAP request. We can do the API test or use that function to set up or clean up the test data in UI testing. Extent report is used as the report for this automation framework. It can show us the detailed information of the test execution clearly. We're also able to review the history of a test case and the detailed test steps of it. If the test case has failed, we will have the screenshot so that we can investigate the issue easily. Next to the second part, in this section, we'll see how a sample project is organized and how to use it. Here is the structure of the framework. To make the project easy to use and maintain, the source code is stored in separate folder so that the newbie can get acquainted with the framework quickly. It also helps us save effort for maintaining code. We define dependency packages in pom.xml as from Maven Dependency Management. Main Java folder contains the core functions of this project. In this folder, we implement the function related to initialize Appium driver, wrap function related to Appium, or integrate with extent report and OKHTTP3. For example, in Appium extended driver file, we'll create the function for tapping on the mobile, or send keys or swipe. In this function, we will wait for element to be clickable before tapping instead of tapping immediately. With this wrapped function, users don't need to handle waiting in their script, and the test script will be more stable. The utilities folder contains all the common methods used for the project like datetime or random method. We store the test data and test configuration in resources folder. According to our experience, we may need to run test on many test environment like test, staging, or production, so our framework also supports to define the different information for specific environment in environment.json file. We can define the mobile we want to test, or where we want to run the test like browser stack or sauce lab or local in config.json file so that we can switch platform easily. In this project, we also apply page object model pattern so that we can maintain the script more easily. Therefore, all the locator and the page classes are stored in pages folder. Test.ui folder is the place we store test case. We create separate folders for API and UI test cases for easy maintenance. Here is the test case example. You can see the test script is easy to understand. For the first test case, we will test to check if welcome screen is displayed correctly. For the second test case, we do check for register new account successfully. You can see we can define the test suite or test case title in extent report later with the same name. With testng, we also can define the order of test and group for it, so we can filter the test easily. Within this screen, you can see that we don't need to have test setup to open or close driver, as we already support it in global hooks with testng annotation. After running test, the extent report will be generated in report folder within the project. It will store latest report in latest folder and also store old report with defined naming convention using datetime so we can check the report easily. A beauty HTML report with detailed information about test run will help us to understand about pass rate or failure of tests with attached screenshot. Finally, we want to show a demonstration with sample project of this framework. In the demonstration, firstly, we will show how we start Appium server with an Android emulator. Then we will update the test configuration to execute with target device. After that, we will run the test with 3 scenarios as verify welcome screen, verify register account flow, verify checkout flow. After execution, we will check out the generated report. Moving forward, we will show how we can execute the test from command line, and then how we integrate with Azure DevOps and Browser Stack. Let's go on demonstration. The e-commerce application is chosen as the application under test. It's the application which allows us to buy products. We can log in and select product to purchase. Firstly, we will try running test on the local machine. After downloading the sample project, we can open it with Eclipse or other IDE. The IDE will help us to install all dependencies. In order to run test on local, we need to start the Appium server. It will help to connect with devices. Now we will update the configuration to select Run Test from local and the target device as the emulator I've opened before. Now let's run the test. You can see the script is start connecting with Appium server. When running the test, we will reinstall the application to make sure we're using the correct build version. During the test, we also log the information about action in script so the automation tester can debug or monitoring the test easily. Let's see the test run. During the test, beside of make action like click or input text, we also get the text value on the screen for validation to make sure that the functions are good. You will see how we validate later in the report. After finish the test, we can view the HTML report in the report folder. In the report, you can see the information about action in script. We also log the reason why the tests are failed with screenshot. In the report, you can see the assert the value in screen with expected value and some assertion are failed. We do soft assertion here to make script able to run into end of flow, but capture screen on every failure. Next, we will execute the test from command line. We will keep other setting as the same, but change the driver type to browser stack. Then we will execute the test from command line and override the value to run test in local. We also can do the same with other configuration. Now let's run the test. We will use command line using Maven and Surefire plugin configured in pom.xml file. You can see that the test run as the same as we see before, so I will stop this soon to save time for the next part. Last part of the demonstration, we will show how we integrate framework with Azure DevOps and Browser Stack. Firstly, let's have a look into the configuration. As you can see, we have the configuration to run test in Browser Stack. You can run test with Browser Stack from local by just update the driver type and input related information like username and access key. But in this demonstration, we will just execute test from Azure DevOps, so leave those configuration and we will override it later. Let's have a look on steps of pipeline that we've defined in YAML file. In the pipeline, we will execute test with Ubuntu agent. You can set up it with other agent as well like Windows or Mac, but it does not matter. In the steps, we will execute a Maven command line as you can see here. I used command line to override the driver type to execute test with browser stack. I also set the value for username and access key of browser stack in this command line as well, which will take value from pipeline's configuration. With that, I do not need to store credential in source code. After execution step, we will save the report as artifact and download it later. Let's run the pipeline. When the job started, it will clone the latest source code and build the project. It will take for a while before start the test. After the test started, we can see that a session is created in browser stack. We also can see the log about action in script. After the attest finish, we can go into browser stack and view information and debug for failure. It also helped to record for us as well, so we can see exactly what we've executed in device. After the pipeline finished, we can go to Artifact to download the HTML report, which I have shown before. We also can go to pipeline to see the pass rate and failed test case as well. That's all for this demo video. Hope that you can feel interesting with the Appium Java framework. Thanks a lot for your listening.